it's one of the first words that we ever learn when we're kids. When we are coming up, I bet you anything, if you ask your parents, what was the first word you say? They might say, oh, it's mama, it's dada. No, it's not. It's no. For some reason, though, as we get older, we really don't know how to say no to people. Some of us just have a hard time being able to say no. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why it is that people just kind of, I don't know, they just feel a lack of confidence. Maybe they want to please somebody, or they don't want to disappoint people. And so they start to say yes to everyone, and they end up saying no to themselves. This particular episode has to do with going over this particular book with Latasha Matthews. It's called The Dumping Ground. She is a licensed practical therapist, as well as a life coach and counselor. I am a certified life coach, as well as an author, a speaker, an entrepreneur, and a speaker. And I like to help people with their boundary setting, with toxic relationships, with just being able to say no to other people when it means saying yes to yourself. Because unlike what some people think, it is not selfish to say no to other people when you're saying yes to yourself. You cannot be your best self if you're always saying yes to what everyone else wants you to do, and then neglecting what it is that you need to do for your life, your goals, your desires, your dreams. You can't put it off forever, because if you do, what will end up is you'll feel really neglected, you'll feel resentful to people, and then your relationships are going to suffer. So either way, your relationships will be bad. So here's a few highlights from the episode today on Kicking It with Daree. Again, we don't know. Why is it so hard to say no? No is a complete sentence. You can say no to people without having to explain why you can't or why not, especially in situations where you're used to saying yes to people, and they're going to be surprised when you first say no. They're going to be surprised and say, okay, well, what else do you have to do? Or don't you realize how important this is to me? But you see, an emergency or something that's important to someone else doesn't necessarily mean that it's an emergency or that it has to be urgent for you to do. And so we have to kind of make those distinctions and set those boundaries so that people can understand that, you know what, I have a life too, and I have priorities. And it's not that what you have for me to do is not important or that I can't do it necessarily, but don't just automatically expect for me to stop everything that I'm doing to take care of what it is that you want or need for me to do. Now, a lot of people that test you, when they test you, it's not necessarily because they're evil or because they're necessarily toxic all the time. They just may be used to getting their way with you. Just like a little kid is used to sometimes getting their way with a certain parent. Maybe their mom doesn't go for it, but their dad is a pushover, or vice versa. So that's the way that they look at you as well, even though we're not talking about children in this particular situation. There's different patterns and different expectations that are set when you are used to saying yes to people and used to always doing and always giving of yourself all the time. Now, here's another great point that Latasha makes in the podcast, which I hope you check out. It's only about 20 minutes. It's a really good episode, even though it's short. You have the power. You have the power to make choices and to set your own boundaries. A lot of people don't realize the choices that they have. A lot of people really don't use their power and use their voice to be assertive and decide, okay, well, no, I'm not going to do that. You can assume that I will do that because I've done it before, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to do that. And so you just have to make people respect you. Long as that's the short of it. You have to make people respect you. There is bonus content for this podcast episode when you sign up for my author list that I showed you at the beginning. It's DareeAllen.com/write your book.